Obviously when my son said something to me on the drive home from the game, and I didn't believe him, so but got it confirmed, was actually, obviously very surprised, felt terrible for him, and he's been playing so well that it was obviously disappointing, but it's just part of this game, part of this profession, that should never be surprised by those things, and you don't really have time to process it and think a whole lot about it. It's you got a job to do, and your mind gets focused on that pretty quickly.
Joe, we hear Jared say week doesn't change much because he always prepares like the start. Lots of backups will say that regardless. But how does your week change with the staff with a change like this?
From a schedule perspective, it doesn't really. Sean's, all of us really are creatures of habit, and we've got a routine, the way we go about business. And so once we found out who we were playing, you start watching the film, and we have a kind of a procedure, a way that we go about game planning every week. It starts with the base run and then the base pass and third down, and so it nothing really changed. Obviously, you've got a different guy under center and different strengths and different weaknesses and different things that you think about when you're game planning with him in mind, but not a huge change overall.
Coach, what gives you confidence in Jarrett being able to succeed this week?
Yeah, I thought, if you watched training camp, if you watched, certainly the preseason games, he was outstanding. Really had one of the better training camps of any quarterback. If you guys were around, I'm sure you were, and watching it. He, I can't think of it. I'm not sure he had a bad day. And so, just seeing him perform very well, and you wish you had a couple warm-up games, that he wasn't just coming off of running the practice squad, but he's a vet, he's a professional, and he's right. The way he does prepare is, which is hard to do for 18 straight weeks, 18 straight games when you're the backup. But when he's running plays, calling our plays in a walkthrough period, or every week, there's never hesitation. He knows it cold, so no concerns there. I'm excited to watch him play.
Hey, Coach, you expect the Patriots throw the kitchen sink at you guys this weekend? And the second part of the question, how much pressure does that put on your O-line, knowing kind of defense the Patriots?
Yeah, they've, depending on what game you watch, they pressure a lot. Last week there was a lot. I'm not sure they'll look at Jarrett and say they want to pressure him more than another quarterback. You're always preparing in your mind for if a team really starts gassing you up in that way. And so you always try to have a plan for that. I don't know if the pressure changes for the O-line. I think, in this league, in this game, you've always got to be at your best every week, and especially as you get deeper into the playoffs. This is going to be the biggest game most of these guys have been a part of in their career, and so we're all expecting to be at our best.
Coach, when you've got a new QB, cold weather game, how important is it to establish a run and a run game?
Yeah.
Like that, with or without JK, how much would be out if you could go?
JK?
Yeah.
You always want to be healthy, but, to your point, you hear people talk about this team's built for, December, January football. That usually means you've got a good defense, which we do, and it means that you run the ball well, which at times we have. So I think it's important, regardless of who the quarterback is. We live in Denver, but I feel like we're a warm weather team based on the weather we've had this winter. So this will be different for us as you look at the weather report. But hopefully we can go out there and run the ball well and do what we need to do.
Joe, Archie's been such an impact player in the passing game. The catch that he had in overtime made him nice. But how close do you feel like he is as a runner to really catch the rhythm?
Yeah, I think close. You know, I think he only had like 6 carries last week, just the way that game went. Yeah, I think it's coming. I think you know, he's had flashes of it, and you know, as we get here in late January, hopefully you know, we can get it as an overall team, just get more consistent in that aspect of the running game.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You know, both guys are great players, obviously, and they both can make every throw, and they're, you know, both athletic guys that can really move. So how we rush these guys is going to be important, and you know, winning third downs and stopping the run game, it's all the same. But those players are special players, so you know, the big moments of the games, you know, just doing our jobs and making plays going to be key.
Well, the defense obviously has made plenty of plays all year. Do you get the sense from your guys that, you know, with Bo going down, they feel added pressure to have to help more again?
I don't feel that. You know, I think we want to play better than we played last week. You know, every week again, guys. You know, when we play on Saturday or Sunday, we correct. You know, and we look forward to making fast improvements. You know, so that's the same deal this week. No different. You know, we watched the tape and it wasn't good in certain spots, and we're going to fix that and move forward. You know, and keep chasing that perfect game. You know, it's always hard to chase and find, but that's what we're chasing. You know, just playing better each week and playing as good as we can.
You got a couple of awards today. One, you're the Assistant Coach of the Year by the writers, and another finalist for Assistant Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on when you heard about that?
It's cool, Mike. You know, but you know, I go back to the players and the coaches and the entire team. You know, and when you win games in this league, you know, more coaches get rewards and players obviously get rewards, and it's a team game. You know, and it speaks to our team winning. You know, and the more we win, the more people around here will get rewards for doing their job. So it's flattering, but my focus is winning this game.
Coach, J-Mac's interception has been talked about a lot. What was your thought in the moment of it, and just how obviously crucial was that at the end?
It was a great play by J-Mac, you know, and J-Mac's always been a ball guy. You know, he finds the football, and the plan was, with that receiver in particular, was to make him finish, you know, and that's what he did. He didn't panic, he didn't grab, he didn't foul. You know, he went right through the hands and made him finish. At the end of it, he came up with the ball. As a coach, man, that makes you proud, because that's the coaching points that you make all week about, you know, certain players. But he's been great all year, but he's always been a ball guy. You know, he's our best ball guy as far as forcing takeaways and catching the ball. You know, so I wasn't surprised it was him.
Do you think people attack you in the passing game with tight ends and running backs more than they might?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's been that way for 2 years now. Our corners are really good players. I mean, Pat obviously is the best in football, in my opinion, and Riley is so competitive. He's always close, right? So sometimes in their minds, their better matchups are from backers and safeties, which they can control leverage, which is smart, right? So, you know, we understand that, and you know, having certain calls to help our backers and safeties cover these guys is always going to be important, but also put them in certain structures where it's pressure structures where they have to block first before they go out. You know, you can cover the back and tight end with certain structures. He can't leave until he blocks first. You know, so that's my job. You know, but absolutely, you know, it's tough to find tight ends, especially on first, second down. But on third downs, you know, that's the matchup they want, because they get the leverage they want, right? And that's just football. It's always been that way for my defense, and moving forward, we understand that. So.
The head coaching deal that you're going through, last 2 weeks you didn't have to deal with it or anything. Mm-hmm. Next week, interview set up, just how that process.
I'm not sure, Mike. It's my first time doing this, you know. So
no, it's not.
Well, it's my first time with this timing of the process.
Okay, I got it.
We'll see. You know, again, Mike, I'm focused on the game, you know, and that's important. You know, you have times in your career where you have big games and opportunities to win a championship, this is one of them. So my focus has been only on the Pats.
Maybe a little obvious, but Benito's had the sacks. For him to get the forced fumbles as well, just how much does that elevate what you guys are able to do?
That's huge, man. That's huge. That's changed his game. He's always been a guy who can win. My first year with him here, he would win and jump and simply miss the sack or miss the football. Now he's finishing better. So it's so fun to watch him win and to keep his eyes down and to slow down and get the football. That's the finishing process for all the great rushers, man. We want the ball, and the ball's the game. And last week it proved that, and he has been great all year, but man, he is finding the football. And that's key.
Time for one more.
Josh McDaniels has obviously been doing this for a long time. How has he evolved, maybe even this year with Drake, who's a little bit of a different quarterback than he's had in the past?
It's a really good offense, and the quarterback is well trained. He's playing at a high level for a young guy. His footwork, his reads are quick. He can make every single throw. He's making every mic point, every run, run checks, pass checks. He's making everything. So it's him, but he's being trained well. Josh is obviously. He's been around a long time, with some really good quarterbacks, so it's no different now. It's a really efficient offense that's hard to stop. So it'll be a challenge.
He makes the run and pass look the same.
He does.
For that?
Yes.
How
Yes.
does that do?
It's tough because of the action, and to block our guys up front, it has to be play action pass, right? If it's always gun, if it's always a pass 10 for our guys, they're hard to block, And I think the play action pass stuff slows them down. It makes them play run first before they can play pass. So they're very good at that. Even in the boot game, it feels and looks like run first. So that's the way you block the fronts in this league. You can't just be in gun every single time. Even if it's a run, if they feel pass, there's so much penetration where it doesn't work. So being under center and showing our D-line run first helps the block.
Sorry, can I ask one? Because you talked about Vance getting mad at Stiddy in practice. Can you take us inside some of those with Sean?
With Stiddy?
You were getting mad at Stiddy's playing so well.
No. That's good because, he's a competitive dude. So every practice is his time to get his reps for the week. So I don't have him just give us the ball, right? He is playing football, so his reads are free to make. His checks are free to make. He can change protection, so he's allowed to play football, and that's important for our entire offense. So it's never scripted for him. So sometimes it's hard because he's making plays against us, and I get pissed about it. But it's fun to watch. Obviously, he's a good player, and happy for him.
Yeah, that first hit in our last game was kind of a big collision. It's been spotty, Mike. I think overall, and then that's something we'll do in the offseason. I think overall, the overall injury numbers are way down. And anytime there's a hit like that, there's been some of that. So that's something we'll examine. The special teams committee. But there's been a few here or there, but I think overall overall injury numbers, the injury rates are way down.
After that first hit, you took Marvin off the kickoff the rest of the game. Is that the case moving forward now to keep him on offense, or do you still put him out there as a
Well, that was really a result of the injuries overall in the receiver room for that game. Pat Bryant got hurt. Obviously, Troy Franklin got hurt. So we started to get whittled down a little bit receiver-wise. It wasn't really in relation to Marvin himself. It was more that if we had lost another receiver, we would have been down to 2. So we were just being a little protective there. But, the good news is, as you guys know, we got a lot of different options there, which we'll continue to do. So we'll continue to rotate guys. But, that was the reason for Marvin in that particular game, is because a couple other guys got hurt. So we were thinning out a little bit at the position.
Marcus Jones as a returner, what sort of challenges he present there?
Gosh, I was telling the story today. When I was at the Saints and in the draft process, I remember watching Marcus, and it was like one of the most unbelievable college return highlight films you've ever seen. And it was like, man, this guy's going to be a dynamic player in the league. And, he's carried it over right into the NFL. He's got the highest average, ever in the NFL history, punt return average. Just a dynamic player. Got a ton of respect for him. He's a game changer. He had 2 this year. He had another one in the same game. He should have had 2 in one game. He kind of got tackled by the ankle, but just a big play waiting to happen. For a guy to be able to score touchdowns in all three phases, you're doing something. But he's just a dynamic guy, and certainly something that we're aware of, and we got to make sure we keep him corralled, because he's a game changer.
Jeremy obviously has had some up and down moments. For him to deliver that punt, I think Sean called it his best one of the year there in overtime. Just what sort of pride do you have in how he's responded this year?
Yeah, listen, like any rookie, I think in any position you're going to have some peaks and valleys throughout your first year. The one thing that we always stress is just a constant improvement at every position. Really, his last two punts, the one went into the end zone, but man, it just missed checking up out of bounds for about 2 yards. But he hit a bomb, and then obviously that punt in overtime, flipping the field and kind of getting them back and backing them up. So yeah, situational punting, winning punting as we call it. But very, very happy with him. He continues to, he works his tail off at all the little things that, the general fan doesn't see. So it's happy to see him respond in a big moment, just for him, for sure.